Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's section of reads. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. This should be on the YouTube channel James13 Wicca in case you're seeing it somewhere else. If you're interested in a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Let's go ahead and get into your selection. Hello, Taurus. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Taurus? Was that Virgo? Something coming in really fast. And maybe you're on point with it, though. You're not Virgo, obviously, but you're also an earth sign like Virgo, though. And you will do what needs to be done. You're definitely like, oh, well, if this has to be, then this has to be. Within reason, if the situation is like, well, this has to happen this way, and you're like, yeah, no, it does. It's kind of like, we just showed up at this camp and there's only a tent and blah, 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 and it's going to rain. It's like, all right, we need to change this quick. We need to move fast. Let's make a shelter really fast that we can like make this work so we're all not freezing to death and getting wet. You may not like doing things haphazardly and quickly, but you're like, if this is what we got to do, then this is what we got to do. And you'll do what you have to get done. You will. That's, if it has to be, then I have to be. Then that's what we got to do. You're coming into this situation with a lot of stability, even though I feel like I've seen it play out before and I didn't like it before, but it's like, well, I need to make it work. I need to make it work. I've gone through this before. It hasn't been the worst. It hasn't been like a washout when we've had to do it like this before. It's been okay, but I have to make it work, and I will. And I get a very strong and I will. Comes in fast. You got to do what you got to do. These two cards together, the trap card with the 8 of Swords and the 8 of Wands, speed. Whom. You just step forward and do what you got. Yeah, don't. Let your instincts take the lead in this. That may seem like a lot, but it's kind of like you have a very limited time as it is. So you're going to let your instincts take the lead. Let your instincts take the lead and do what you got to do in a motion. Keep motion going. So it's kind of like, all right, we got to get things done. So it's kind of like when I say let your instincts take the lead. I know that the supplies are outside in the shed. So as soon as you know you got to do it, just start heading towards it. And on the way, think on the way. And then just start gathering supplies that you think you're going to need and just move and just keep going. It's going to be an uncomfortable outcome either way because you can't plan it the way you would normally. But if you just keep moving, you get a better outcome. I know that's a lot. That's typically not how Taurus rolls. But even though the stability isn't there, the outcome is. These are weird cards to have together, especially for Taurus. This is like the lack of stability, the lack of foundation. I cringe at this because I'm like, if this is happening, then it's happening. And it's just helping you get through it. You know how life comes at you. You know how life just happens. It just does. You will have a good outcome. I would also like remind yourself when you're looking back at this, because I feel like you very much will, keep reminding yourself you had no luxury of time. You had no luxury of time. And you had no luxury of like knowing all the different aspects that you needed to know. You had no luxury of the sort. No luxuries were here. No time luxuries, no knowing what's here, no knowing who's available, none of this stuff. It's like getting stuck here and like no cell phone service. You can't call people, you can't do any of that. So if you see somebody, you're like, can you help me? If you don't see them, you don't know they're there. You may find later like, oh my gosh, we were just like 2 miles down the road. We did come over and help you. Remember, you didn't know that. If you didn't know that, you couldn't have used it. Keep reminding yourself that. Write it down if you gotta. Because you're going to make it through this. You're going to get farther than you expect. There will be an ounce of foundation to this, but probably just an ounce. So I would say Taurus is usually like the king and queen of pentacles. Usually you're the royalty, you're the leaders, the monarchs that are the leaders. So whichever one you want, it doesn't matter. They're both the leaders. You're not getting the level you want, but you are getting something to build from later. Like what you did do, you did to the best of your ability. The stress. Ugh. You wanted it to be completely, but I just keep reminding yourself that's not a luxury you have. It's the outcome in realizing the people around you, let the people around you work with you. They're also very stressed, but they believe in you. Whoever is working with you does believe in you. It may not be the level or the amount that you want, but it'll be enough. So another analogy I'm going to use is kind of like we're moving into a new house. We have no cell service, no internet. We just can't see, whatever reason, we just don't have it. But a half hour back, we saw a mini mart, whatever. We know that one's there. We can't seem to, we don't know where anything else is around here. So it's kind of like, all right, let's go back there because we only have so much time and we don't have power in the house, but we have to stay here tonight and we need to eat. Let's go back there, see what makes sense, see what we can afford and see what we can do. It's like, all right, well, there's this little grill. We can get that. Hot dogs are cheap. Let's get some buns. We'll get some mustard or ketchup, whatever knocks your socks off, and we'll get some chips for everybody. And we'll get, water for everybody. And, we'll get this little pan and a couple dozen eggs. Actually, maybe probably not if you don't have a place to store them. But, we'll get stuff to make pancakes because we have water now. So maybe it's those type of pancakes. And then we have to go back because it's going to be dark soon. We have to get this done because we don't have power. And we got to do what we can. So we get back there, we eat, we all get situated for the night. And it's coming kind of like the next day or a couple days later, we do get cell service or whatever. And then we find out, oh, there was this whole thing like 10 minutes from us over here. And then these other people are like, well, if we'd known you were there, you could have stayed with us. We'd have helped you. And all this information is going to show up after that. You just didn't have the luxury or the time to go search it out. You had no idea these people were there. You had nothing to tell you where this other store was 10 minutes away this other direction. You had none of that. And these people are going to know that. They're going to be like, you know what? You made it work. You did what you had to do. You did the best in the moment. And it's for you to remember that too. In case there are some naysayers, just to remember, like, you had no luxury of time. You had no luxury of knowledge. You just had to do the best you could do in the moment. This does seem to bring forward something else, by the way. Okay. Because you kept moving, it does seem to bring forward something else. I think in a very positive way. Because I'm getting like, there's a contract coming your way in a very positive way. Somebody wants your connection because whatever it was you chose, it made sense. It made sense. You didn't sit there and let the situation rule you. You decided what needed to be done, and you did the bare minimum. Bare minimum. Like, you did the bare minimum. Like, you didn't spend anything that shouldn't be spent. You didn't use up resources that really shouldn't have been used. You did conserve the best you could, and you did make it work the best you could. You made sense. For the resources you had and for the limitations you were given, you did make a really good decision, and you really did good things. There may be people that are naysayers around this situation, but they want to make you look bad so that they can say, like, well, if it was me, I would have jumped a tall building in a single bound, and I would have had no problem doing so. Sure you would have. Okay, that's fine. Let's just remember that. I don't think we have to go down that, but, like, whatever. Just be aware of that. If other people are, like, picking apart what you chose, remind yourself of those limitations, but also some people just want to make you look bad so they can take an opportunity that they probably don't deserve. Just saying. There's There's also like a heads up here. Only speak where it's going to benefit you. If there's people who are giving you a hard time, you don't have to go and constantly run around and fix that. Let people believe in that person. If they want to believe their lies, let them. And let those people find out the hard way. You know, you want to fall for that, let them fall for that. They can deal with it on their own. You don't have to like talk about this left and right and constantly be validating your decisions. If you want to validate it once, make sure it's once and make it short and sweet is the idea. Because if you do, that leaves other people to wonder because you have a reputation already. I feel with this situation, you already have a reputation for making sound decisions. If you just make it a bare minimum, you get to the point, I had limited time, limited resources, we did the best we could. We did not have internet at the time, so I did what was necessary and we moved on. And they're like, but we want to talk about this. We'll talk about it amongst yourselves. I got other things that need to be done. You're not in line right now. That's all you're getting. Sort it out yourself. I'm moving on to my next responsibility. Let them wonder. Let them wonder. Just make it the bare minimum. Let them wonder. Because you have a lot of people who are like, you know what? Taurus made sure we made through it. Taurus made sure we ate. Taurus made sure we weren't cold. Taurus made sure that we had something in the morning. Taurus did this, Taurus did that. And I feel like there are people who back you. Kind of like Taurus has a reputation. You're not going to go hungry. Are you going to get a 5-course meal? Do you need one? I almost feel like somebody arguing that. Like, did you need one that night? I don't think so. We had hot dogs and chips, and my stomach was full. I was not having hunger pains. I slept through the night. We woke up. We had pancakes. Were they gourmet pancakes? No. Did they need to be? No. I just needed something to eat in the morning, and I was fine. And Taurus made sure we had that. People will, especially if you kind of just like let them wonder, other people will step forward because I just feel like there's people around this situation that aren't going to tolerate it for whatever reason. Because they're very thankful that it actually did work out, and they're like, no, it wasn't gourmet, but I didn't need gourmet. I just needed something, and it took away the stress. I wasn't worried about getting something to eat. I wasn't worried about sleeping where we were sleeping, and I wasn't worried about having something in the morning. I knew something would be there, and that was good enough for me. And that's what we needed. It's kind of like along the bare minimum thing I was saying before. Like, that seems to be exactly, like, I just needed to know it was going to be there. I just needed to know it was going to work out, and it did, and that was the point. That's the bare minimum that seems to be a very, very good thing here. More things are coming forward. Whatever this moment is, you're going to remember it. But I don't feel like I need to allow other people to keep bringing up conversations about it. Once you've put it to bed, you've put it to bed. You know what I mean? If it's like, for example, if it was a work situation and you have to deal with management and management has questions, that's one thing. Because it's like, all right, well, it's management. If it's coworkers or people that work for you or that you oversee, I don't feel like we have to keep entertaining the conversation. It's kind of like, we talked about it, it's over, we're moving forward. Because I keep feeling like people keep wanting to bring it up. People keep wanting to do that. You know what I mean? I feel like there's too many other things that actually need to be done. We don't need to keep going over that. We can let that go. You have other opportunities that are needing to come in, other responsibilities that you want to take on. We're leaving that behind. If other people, I feel like there's something here with other people that won't let things go because they just want to make it out like you didn't know something. You did the best you could, and they wouldn't have been even half as effective. That's the thing. If you move that on and they keep going on about it and you stop addressing it, that's going to backlash on them in a different way. I don't know how, because it's a general read. Just let them be their own enemy. Let them be their own worst friend. Like, worst friend, frenemy. Let them sink their own ship. I don't know. There's another opportunity coming for you after this. I feel like I've already said that, but like, it's a general read, so I guess it depends on your life. Other opportunities are coming because of this. Let those who support you support you. I don't feel like we need to run it into the ground talking to people who just want to keep being a problem, because I keep getting that. And maybe that's what I'm missing on this. Like, there's people who keep bringing it up, but the reason they keep bringing it up is because they want to make you look bad and make themselves look like a superhero, which is unrealistic. And if you just stop playing the game and you just stop addressing it, they just look like a complainer, and they're going to sink their own ship. Let them sink their own ship. You got other things to go on to. We don't need to be going on and on and on about this. Especially if it looks like on the outside that it doesn't bother you and they have their opinion and that's cute and not just moving on. The less people think you're bothered by it, the more advantageous it is for you. I don't know if you're actually bothered by it, but I'm getting, if people don't realize, if you are, then it doesn't cause any damage. All right, I'm gonna shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.